Hello, I'm meteorologist Rob Carlmark, and I'm going to discuss two major topics that are going on in California today, and this is on Wednesday. We've got our major fire risk. It's not a red flag warning situation, but we know from recent fires, things can get very active very quickly, and we still have that risk over the next few days. And thankfully, our hot pattern is changing. Now, it's not necessarily going to be today, but it is over time going to happen fairly quickly. And within just 2 days, we're going to go from triple digits to 90s for highs. So let's get into topic number one. There were two fires that were started by lightning a few days ago in Plumas County. They grew very, very quickly. There were huge, giant clouds, a pyrocumulus cloud, which is that big puffy white cloud on top of a smoke plume. So obviously an aggressive fire in the very beginning. Thankfully, on that particular day at that moment, the winds weren't very strong. Now, that's usually when we have the highest area of concern and when things go downhill very rapidly is you have extreme fire conditions. It's very windy at the time. You get a spark. All of a sudden, it's going through vegetation quickly, and there's not much time to evacuate or prepare for what's going to happen next. The winds have calmed down decently enough that earlier this morning, you could see a lot of smoke and haze, and the fire has been growing. But now they call it the gold complex because there's a few in the area, all started by lightning. And they're going to attack it basically as one situation that they got to deal with. So you could see it's definitely still active, but not as active as the very beginning. But we do have some concern because going forward here, we know that the vegetation is bone dry. This is one way of measuring that. Basically, how combustible is the vegetation ready to go? When you're on the upper end here, which we have been recently until we get this nice cool down in the future, you should be concerned because anything that starts is going to grow quickly. On a red flag day, it gets really bad. So we'll go through the pattern here because there are some concerns that I have. But in the background, how we mostly are affected by wildfire, if we're being honest, because most people are not in these areas, is by smoke. And somehow, this is amazing to me, with the combination of hot days and recent fires, the air quality as of Wednesday has been actually okay. Now, that's obviously going to change as fires continue to burn or we get new ones, but the wind direction is good for places like Sacramento and the valley floor. However, it's not great for anything that is off to the east of where that fire is burning. So places in Nevada, downwind, once it settles into the valley, places like Truckee, South Lake Tahoe, perhaps Reno as well, could see with some wind shifts in the coming days, more smoke and haze in the area. Now, this has been a very busy fire season. You can see the number of fires matter, but that's more or less in line with our 5-year average. It's the acres burned. Now, the good news in all this, I know you're looking at this number thinking, how could there be any good news with this, is that even though we're above our 5-year average, and yes, we are way above last year, which was a very quiet fire year, we have not seen a singular fire really take off. I'm talking 100,000, 200,000 acres or more. The years previously, before the last two fairly quiet years, back in 2020, we had many fires just take off, and these numbers were astronomical. So we haven't had that situation, even though it's been a busy year compared to last year and over the last 5 years as well. This is the concern. The area shaded in green is just for a general thunderstorm risk. We have some areas highlighted for potential lightning later on today and this evening, and you could see anything that happens later today could have abundant lightning. Okay, so let's think about it. It's going to be hot. It's going to be dry. We also have the winds that we're going to have to contend with and the possibility of lightning. So we do have, when you add it all up, another fire risk day. Now, the good news is that the wind coming in is not extremely dry. There is some humidity to it, and the wind direction is somewhat helpful. However, it is going to be more breezy this afternoon. There's a give and take with this. We've called this the Delta breeze forecast because mostly when we're looking at this, we're looking for onshore cooling wind, which helps to take the temperatures down, and it really takes the edge off a hot day, of which we're going to have today. But when you look in some of the outer communities, we are going to have breezy conditions that extend as well, 15 to 20 miles per hour in that fire area, as well as gusts up to 30 or so. So when you add in the wind, the dry fuels, the existing fires, it all adds up to some of the things that we're going to be watching on this Wednesday. Now let's switch gears and talk about the pattern. Okay, do you see a pattern here? This is one of the easiest ones to pick out of all time. We've set so many high temperature records so far this summer. One of them was the hottest stretch of 20 days we've ever seen in Sacramento. And then with the 110 yesterday, that is 5 days so far in 2024 that we've hit 110 or hotter. That is a record. Actually, it extends the record. And our record books for this particular one go back to 1877. Now, we actually got kind of close to this with 3 days over the calendar year in 2021 and 2022. Do you see a pattern here? Yes, we've certainly been stacking up very hot days, and many of them within the past 5 years. Going forward, even though it is going to be a hot day with triple digits down low, the 90s for the foothills and the 80s up high, we're going to start to see things break down a little bit. Yesterday, like I mentioned, we hit 110. Some places were obviously not that hot. And once you get north of Sacramento, we're still dealing with extreme heat, but we're taking the edge off. And part of it is because of that graphic I showed you with the delta breeze. We are going to get a decent onshore delta breeze, which is going to help take some of these temperatures or not allow the temperatures to get as hot. The other thing that we're watching is just an overall pattern change. High pressure has been doing its thing. It's been strong. It's basically been dominant. So yeah, it's another hot one, but we're going to be cooler in the future. When we're watching the pattern here, these big bubbles of high pressure, the heat dome, in other words, will start to migrate and move toward the middle of the country. Yes, we have a blocking ridge, so we're not going to get storms or anything like that. We almost never do in July. But we are going to allow, at least sandwiched in between, some cooler air that's going to sag down for a few days over the weekend. But then as we move into next week, our high pressure builds back in, gets stronger and stronger, and we're going to have more heat toward the end of next week. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we still have some hot days and some nice things to look forward to. Today is a weather impact day. What does that mean? Because of the high temperatures, because of the fire risk, because of the warm morning that we have, and warm also tomorrow morning. You add it all up, and we still have to be concerned about heat and the fire risk, things that can affect you. It's a weather impact day. Starting tomorrow, though, certainly once we get in the afternoon, we're taking the edge off the heat, and then we begin a really nice cooling trend. Highs in the low 90s and upper 80s. This is the first extended period of below average temperatures, because remember, our average is right around 94, 95, that we've seen so far this entire summer. We'll take it. The fact that it bottoms out over the weekend, we love it, but we will be looking at triple-digit heat coming back end of next week.